From Selma, Alabama, would you please welcome storyteller Miss Kathryn Tucker Windham.
Thank you, thank you. I just hate to say goodbye, but hadn't it been a wonderful weekend? I've lived a long and happy life, 92 years. And some of the happiest times in my whole long life have been right here in Jonesboro, Tennessee. This festival is, you can't describe it to anybody. You can't tell them what happens to you when you come to the festival. You have to come and experience it yourself. Be here and watch the people and listen to the people and laugh with the people. And it's just a magical weekend. And I wish everybody I love could come to the Storytelling Festival every year. I wouldn't take anything for it. And, these years have just sped by so fast. I can't believe I'm 92, but I am, and there's no way to push the time back. As I told you last night, my doctor said that I was not old, that I was just on the fringes, the outer fringes of middle age. I'm not sure how far those fringes go. But not long ago, I was teaching Sunday school class in Selma. I go to the United Methodist Church. Been there a member for years, and I was having a little difficulty with this lesson I was to teach, and it occurred to me that maybe my sister's Bible might have some notes in it that I could use. My older sister, who was 18 years older than I was a Bible scholar and made notes in the margin of a Bible. And I went to get that Bible and opened it up, and a piece of paper fell out of it. And I picked it up, and it was in my sister's handwriting, but it was a poem that I know she did not write, and I do not know who wrote it. But I like it, and I just want to tell it to you. Life is like a journey on a train with people sitting at each window pane. We may sit far apart the whole journey through. You may never know me, I may never know you. But if by chance we should sit side by side, let's be pleasant companions to so short a ride. And I've been blessed with pleasant companions. And one of the pleasantest of my companions was my father. He was a wise man. He waited until he was 52 before he had me, so that shows how wise he was. I came along, and he'd already had 6 children, and they were, most of them grown. There'd been a 13-year skip, and I decided I'd surprise everybody. And I was spoiled and petted and enjoyed every minute of it. But it got time for me to go to school, and I don't think he wanted me to go to school. I think he decided we'd have homeschooling, which was unheard of at the time. But my mother dissuaded him of that. She said she just didn't have time to do anything else like try to teach me anything, so it would have been a difficult task, I know. But we started to school, and my father said to me, now they're going to tell you as you go to school that the 3 things that are most important are reading, writing, and arithmetic. He said, now those things are important. The 3 R's, they call them, reading, writing, and none of them start with R, but R, reading, so I don't know why they call them the 3 R's, but that was confusing to me to start off. But I did listen to him. But he says, they are not the most important things. He said, when you're building your life, the most important things are the 4 L's. And the first L is listening. And that's what we do when you come to Jonesboro. We listen. We listen. And it's a rare thing these days, listening. Listening to the human voice. Listening to one person talking to another person. Listening. You know, we have all these cell phones and these earphones and these... We have forgotten how to listen. How to sit down and talk and have a good time listening. My daddy said, listen. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, and he expected you to use them in that proportion, which is a good lesson. The first L is listening, and the next L is learning. You have to learn something different all your life. Don't ever quit learning. And, I try to learn something different. I try something every day. Don't learn something every day, but, try to. And I learned 2 things recently that pleased me a great deal. I learned that possums never quit growing. They grow their whole life. They're the only living things that keeps growing as long as they live. That was interesting to me. And then I learned that all mint plants, I have had a bed of mint out by my kitchen door, and weeds were growing in it, and I was trying to pull out the weeds and be sure I didn't pull up the mint, and it's hard to tell the difference sometimes. And I had one friend who came by and said, it's easy to tell the difference with mint plants and other plants. Mint plants are the only plants that have square stems. All other plants have round stems. Well, made it easy, and I learned something new. But I don't know if that's what my father had in mind exactly. But he was a wise father about that. When I went off to college, he was getting up in years then too, and maybe I had learned a little bit, I don't know. But it took a great deal of sacrifice for my family to send me to school. It was during the Depression. I graduated from high school in 1935, the depths of the Depression, and we had no money, but Skip got a little money up together, and I got a scholarship and worked and went off to Huntington College in Montgomery. In the first grading period, I made an F in French. I thought the world had ended. I had gone through that little country high school and elementary school, too, with all A's. It wasn't that I was that smart. It was just that it was simple then to me. And I had read all my life and been read to. And I knew most of the stuff that we studied in college freshman year. But I made an F. I thought I'd disgrace the whole family, and I thought how they'd sacrifice to send me to college. And I was so sad. And the worst part about it was that I was going home for the first time the weekend after those grades came out. Students didn't go home every weekend then. It's been weeks since I'd been home. And to be the timing of having the grades get there before I got there was not pleasant. But I got off the train, and my family greeted me and didn't act as if I'd disgraced the family. And I walked up the hill to the house and went in the living room, and on the mantel was this envelope from Huntington College, and it had been opened, and I knew everybody knew I had failed French. But it was my father I was interested in, I was concerned about. I was sorry for having disappointed. So I couldn't wait till he got home that afternoon late and see what his reaction was going to be. And he came in and he hugged me and kissed me and told me he'd missed me and didn't mention the French grade. All during supper, no mention of the French grade. The longer it was postponed, the more I was suffering. went in the living room after supper to sit around the fire and talk. And he settled down in his easy chair and looked up at the mantel, and I thought, here it comes now. He said, well, I've had a real busy day today. I've been to Grove Hill and Jackson and Suggsville and Walker Springs. And everywhere I went, people were speaking English. And that was the only mention of it. And I did finally learn it and graduated. And I learned other things, tried to learn things all along the way. But listening and learning and laughing is the third L, he said. We've all got to laugh. Laugh at ourselves. Laugh at something every day. The world is a magical, wonderful place, he says. But we need to laugh together. And it distresses me that we don't laugh as much as we used to. And we don't laugh at the same kinds of things that we used to. Don't laugh at people, my father said. You laugh with people. And you can never hate anyone you've really laughed with. And I've seen that so often as I've grown older. Laughter binds people together. Oh, he believed in laughter. And we older people have to learn to laugh at ourselves. Good gracious alive, I do something every day that makes me laugh. I was calling the drugstore not long ago, get a prescription refilled, and kept dialing the number, and the strangest noises came over the line, and I thought, what in the world's wrong with the drugstore? And I'd try again, and it's just peculiar. It didn't sound like anything I'd ever heard was coming over that line, and I got real irritated. I thought I'd been trading with this drugstore for 70 years, and they don't won't answer the phone. And I was just getting angry, and I picked up the medicine bottle to be sure I was calling the same number. You know, I did know the number after all those years, but it was on there. And it dawned on me I was dialing the prescription number. Well, you know. And then my father taught me the most important L is loving. Loving. Said God put us here to love each other, to enjoy each other, to help each other, to laugh together, to learn together, to listen together, but to love each other. And there's nothing that says I love you more pleasantly and more plainly than storytelling. Everybody here has stories that you need to tell to somebody you love. And now is the time to do it. Now, after this great festival, go home and tell stories, and tell each one with love, ending with, I love you. I love you. Thank you.